Hi, I'm Paul Bertolli from Fra Mani Handcrafted Foods. I'm the founder and Chief Creative Officer of the company. And today we're going to talk about three of our so-called fat meats that we produce at Fra Mani. The pancetta, this is what we call pancetta stesa, which is not rolled and tied or formed in any way. The guanciale, the cheek and jowl, and the smoked pancetta. They're all quite different and have quite different uses in the kitchen. This is the guanciale, which is basically the cheek and jowl of the pig. And what's characteristic about this is it is probably the most fat, contains the most fat of all three cuts. Just salted, there's a bit of cure in the form of celery powder, and we have some spices on the surface, mainly black pepper, a little bit of red pepper, and that's about it. There are really two main differences between American jowls, American guanciale, and Italian guanciale. One has to do with the size of the hog. In Italy, the hogs tend to be harvested at a much higher weight, probably a third again, as much as the standard American market hogs. The jowls are often slashed of the animals here to gauge the health of the animal. So inspectors on the line will go across and they'll slash some of the jowls. They'll do it on a random basis, so not all of them are slashed. We have to discard these. The others we trim down to remove all the glands and to shape them as best possible. Ours come in variable sizes, so you won't necessarily get a big one or a small one or a middle-sized one. You might get one of each. Similar to the flat pancetta, and that it's not a ready-to-eat product. It does need to be cooked. And it tends to be a fairly fat cut, so it does figure into cooked presentations. In terms of its use in the kitchen, I like to think of it not only in terms of the classic Italian dishes, amatriciana, carbonara, gricia, in which it's really elegantly shows off the nature of this cut, but also I tend to use it fried crisp, like luxurious bacon bits in salads. And because I grow a lot of greens in my garden, it's very useful to flavor greens like cavolo nero or collards or broccoli, any of the brassica families. It's excellent with that. I want to talk to you now about our pancetta. This is what we call our flat pancetta. So we basically use a whole belly to make this product. You'll see that it has some fine flecks of herbs and spices on it. What you see perhaps in the camera is the bay leaf that we use. There's a little bit of clove, salt, and pepper, but a simple, very simple seasoning that honors the meat. This is a skinless, boneless pork belly. Right here, you can see that there are different contours of the belly. This is the loin end. Tends to be thinner, trimmed out, as well as fatter and leaner. Actually, there's quite a bit of lean on this particular belly. This is the raw product. This is the finished product. After it's been aged, you can see it loses a fair amount of weight. This flat pancetta is very good. I like to use it in thin strips for barding meat, like chunks of chicken thigh on a skewer, let's say, wrapping the pancetta around it. It really moistens what is otherwise a pretty lean cut. Take the chicken skin off and wend some strips of pancetta around it. It also is good for larding meat. So you can make batons of this, little rectangular shapes, slits in legs of lamb or in beef roasts. Excellent that way to tenderize and flavor the meat with the herbs and spices that are on it. I also have a kind of decadent version of this, which is to braise it whole on mirepoix, so carrot, celery, and onion diced, and to use it as an accompaniment to like a boiled dinner. Use it as a meat that can accompany other cuts of the pig. These two products are made from the same cut, but they could not be more different from one another. This is our smoked pancetta. It's rolled, obviously. You can see that it has a very nice wide face on it. That's because when we assemble this cut, we trim it so that there's a nice balance of the lean and the fat. And we also put a piece in the center from that trim to expand the diameter. From the raw belly to the smoked pancetta, which is the rolled product, ready to eat, we basically take half of the belly and we do some of the trimming so that we get a nice balance of lean and fat in the finished product. And we put that trim piece inside, roll it closed, smoke it with, for about a half an hour or so, and cook it through so that it's a product that you can either slice and eat the way it is or cook in a pan, cook on the grill. The smoked pancetta is basically something that you could use on a salumi board. It's ready to eat. It also is excellent when it's just touched in a pan, briefly piled on top of a garlic rubbed crouton. It's probably the most sumptuous of the fat meats and the preparations that we make at Fra Mani.